I have really wanted to like Nope. I really wanted to like it going in. The main reason I really wanted to go see it in IMAX was to see the preview of Oppenheimer, which looks fantastic. But I think going into Nope, the big thing with this is what type of filmmaker is Jordan Peele really? Get Out, I thought was very good. A very Rosemary's Baby-like movie. I like puzzle box movies. They're very, very fun, and he did a good job with Get Out. The comedic relief in that movie was so annoying. But other than that, Us felt like Jordan Peele very much liked that he kind of tapped into a social commentary. There was a lesson to learn in Us that I think was that with something like Get Out, where you've got the allegory, the theme is working so close in tandem with the story that you just make a great movie. That's what a great movie is. With Us, there was a good story going on, and there was a theme, but it felt like water and oil. There was interesting stuff going on there, but it really felt like this is not as well put together as you might think it is after 2 years of looking at it on the drawing board. And I've got to say, this one is not so much an allegory as something like Get Out is, or even Us. If anything, I would say this one feels much more lost than those movies, because you still have there being a very, very heavy, message or theme as to what is going on. And I think this movie is unable to decide between whether it wants to preach or whether it wants to entertain. What Get Out did was just tell a story so well. And when you tell any story well, you are going to have baked into it so many themes that you're able to discuss and dissect and really pick the movie apart because the story is told so well. This one feels a lot more like there was kind of a message or a theme, and then the movie was kind of built out of that. It feels like a Frankenstein type of movie that is not really not walking all that well. It feels a little bit just, again, unfinished. That happens a lot. And Jordan Peele makes these puzzle box movies, which I think are awesome. I think they're very fun watching puzzle movies. I think puzzle movies are a lot of fun. I like having to solve a movie. And the elements in a puzzle box movie that make it so fun, you have mystery, and there's a lot of mystery in this movie. And Jordan Peele does a great job of melding mystery with horror, like very visual horror. He's great at that. He's great with music. Also, with a puzzle box movie, you need a theme. And the two of them they have to work together. The story is the thing that's going to really marry them together. And if it marries them together, then the more that you dive into the mystery, the more you find out about the theme. And the more you dive into the theme, the more you find out about the mystery. And that is what is unlocking the puzzle box for yourself. You have a ton of movies that do this at a lot of different levels. Christopher Nolan does this all the time with blockbuster movies. Take any of his movies that are very successful. The more that you go into the story of it, the mystery of it, the more you find out about the theme, and then the more that you find out about the theme, the more that you then see in the actual story itself. And Michael Haneke, I would say, is the best filmmaker that does this, and he's operating more at a art house level. Movies like Cache, movies like The White Ribbon, movies like Funny Games, these are very, very, very thought out themes with also brilliantly constructed stories. And those movies really, really invite you in to either get lost in the story or get lost in the theme. You can do one, you can almost only focus on the theme, and it's so rich the way that those movies are told. Again, you can do the same with the story. There's just incredibly rich movies, very, very well told. I would say Haneke is the person that does this kind of type of puzzle box movie the best, although it is much more on the art house scene. With Jordan Peele, he is working more at the Christopher Nolan level. He's working at the Tarantino level. He's working for blockbuster audiences. He is delivering entertainment. And one thing that Tarantino said, particularly whenever he is said he's wanted to portray a theme or a message, particularly in things like Inglourious Bastards or Django Unchained, he said that what he always had to keep in mind is that if he's making a Western or if he's making a war movie, while he's got something that he is saying, he has to, first and foremost, deliver the war movie. He has to deliver the Western movie. Because if he doesn't, then it doesn't fucking matter what he wants to say. It doesn't matter if there's anything in there that is important, that he feels the audience should take away. All of that richness that you want to walk away with doesn't really matter if you, at the surface level, don't make a really good Western or a really good war movie. If you don't have that, then there's nothing to talk about. We all see hundreds of terrible movies every single year. we don't talk about a ton of them, although I'm sure the director has tons of messages in there that he wants us to take away. And I think that the problem that Jordan Peele is having is that he has his messages and they are normal, they're well thought out, but a message is very boring if the movie doesn't grab you first and foremost and the story doesn't grab you first and foremost and you're just enamored with it. You can't get over it. And with Us, and particularly with Nope, there's just so many beats that don't make sense, are very boring, are very annoying. It just feels like, it's like, I've talked about this, like a pyramid of giving a shit. At the bottom, you've got your deep message. At the next level, you've got kind of your cultural touchstones, the stuff that makes you feel like, oh yeah, that's a movie from the 90s, like that type of stuff, like you're connecting with the culture. At the top, though, it's just the fun, like, the movie's got to entertain you. Any movie that's boring, we're not going to care what it's saying. And I feel, and at that top level, there's just a lot of in this movie that does not really work. And I don't want to get into a bunch of spoiler stuff, like the monkey. There's a whole thing going on in this movie about a monkey. And I've got to say, that is some of the creepiest stuff that I have seen recently. But it feels creepy in the type of way that you would get a very well-made segment from the ABCs of Death. I'm sure, yes, if you want to sit me down and you want to talk to me about how it connects with everything, that's great. But I don't really care about the Stephen Yeun character whenever he is giving his performance throughout the entire thing. And I know that it all connects because we've got a message going on here about spectacle. And the cinematographer character that's showing up, that character doesn't work at all. He's supposed to be this hugely important example of how spectacle and the obsession with spectacle and being involved with spectacle can go too far. And I don't give a shit about what happens to him or how invested he is in this mission that he's on. I'll make this one really quick. Skip ahead like a minute if you don't want to hear this. So the movie is playing on these certain rules. Whenever you go into the movie, you think you're seeing a UFO movie. So your imagination goes with things such as aliens would be able to make that cloud over there that does not move stay in place, and they could use that then to hide. But then we find out that the UFO is actually an animal that uses the clouds to hide and has to kind of move around with them on a regular basis. Doesn't quite then make sense why there is like a manipulated cloud that's able to stay in place. It's an example of the movie on just the level of being like an entertaining movie. The stuff that filmmakers and writers spend years thinking about getting right. There's just a lot of examples of a lot of that not clicking, a lot of it not being entertaining, and it feels like there are a lot of shortfalls in this movie and even in Us. And Jordan Peele kind of gets this pass of, well, there is a message going on here, and if the message kind of fills over the gaps of everything that is not working in this movie, then we just got to let it go. Overall, Jordan Peele has got something to say. I really don't care what he's trying to say unless we've got a very good movie, first and foremost, a good story. And I really don't like the cynicism of a lot of critics and a lot of viewers who feel like as long as there is a message going on, then, or there is something being said, then that papers over all the shortcomings of the movie itself. I feel like that is very lazy. I feel like first and foremost, in order to talk about any movie at the level of a theme or a message or what it is saying, it's got to be incredibly engaging just on the level of story. Nope, I don't think has that, and it makes me totally uninterested whenever we have think piece after think piece about what's actually going on in Nope. Right now, Jordan Peele, fantastic director. I think he needs to get a different writer. As of right now, though, his whole career feels like a season of The Twilight Zone, and his first movie was like the nuclear bomb where the man loses his glasses at the last moment and he can no longer read, and he says it's just not fair. Fantastic episode. And that is what Get Out feels like. And then the rest of the career feels like the rest of the season where it's like, it doesn't really make sense. So everyone's just shrunken. They're all like in a different time warp or something like that. Like a bunch of episodes that no one remembers, no one really cares about. That is kind of what Nope, that's what Us feels like. He's still a good horror filmmaker, I would say. I also think he just needs someone else writing the scripts. So give me your thoughts on Nope in the comments below. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.